Boom. All right, what's up, YouTube? By popular demand, we're going to go ahead and do a quick cut of the scouting report. So let's take a look. Aaron Rodgers, obviously the best player on his team. Antonio Gibson. Now, Antonio Gibson, when we take a look at the box score, you're going to see that Antonio Gibson is probably going to have in between about 8 and 11 carries, 8 to 12 carries for about 60 to 90 yards. If we can keep him in that range, we're doing what we want from a defensive standpoint. We want to really force Gibson to carry the ball, with Gibson being the player on the Jets this season that has been really the rhythm holder for the Jets. When we look at the box scores, you'll see that. So you're going to see about 8 to 12 carries from Antonio Gibson. The tight ends. We're going to take a close look at the tight ends and the box scores here in a second in our Week 4 scouting report when it comes to the Dreams Jets team. And you'll see that Darren Waller and Harrison Bryant are the highlights of this offense. Okay, they're going to use the running back to control the clock, to be rhythmic, but this team is expecting to get turnovers on the defensive side of the ball and use that to propel themselves to a win. There's a huge marker there. At left guard, you got the 62 overall. Marshawn Lattimore is one of the best players in Madden. He's been that way since he came into the league. He propelled his rating very fast with the live Madden roster updates. And there he is sitting at an 88 soundly. So you really want to be careful when you're throwing the ball that way. Now, when we look through the box score, we see that Chidobe, he is getting those turnovers. So we want to be careful with him. It looks like he's highlighting that WR2 and doing a great job so far this season. Of course, Lattimore, when you target Lattimore, it's never really good for the quarterback. So that's something to keep in mind. When it comes to the safeties, what we're really going to take a look at and highlight are the two strong safeties. These are the guys that you're going to see on the field predominantly, regardless of the safety position, Matthew and May. From the looks of it, when you peek at the box score, May is filling those turnovers and sacks, and he is adjusting each week to what the offense is giving them. So we want to take a look closely at May and highlight him during the game. Of course, Matthew is quietly going to do his job, so you want to know where he is at all times. In terms of our scouting report, we do believe that May is the primary user for Dreams on the defensive side of the ball, so we want to be careful and always know where he is. And Matthew, I'm sure, is not far behind with the usage rate. So that's something you want to keep in mind. He has shown to kick the ball and be successful. Zerline is showing 100% field goal rate on the season. We're going to be taking a look at Jets Bills, the box score. Of course, he won 35-21. Okay, it's very important. When you take a look at this game, it's really a very interesting one. Okay, you have the offensive yards gained, huge discrepancy, 90 yards to 400. When we looked through this the first time, that obviously stood out. And you really want to ask yourself why, what went on? Is there cheating going on in the league? What is this, right? 357 passing yards to 49 passing yards. You're immediately going to assume that team with all of those offensive yards won the game. No, that was not the Jets. That was the losing team that lost 35-21. So when you look a little closer, you'll see 3 offensive first downs from the Jets to 14 for the Bills. What's going on? No return yards, which is not abnormal for a comp head-to-head league. Guys don't even kick the ball to the returner. They kick it to the sidelines. So when you take a look here, you ask yourself, where can I see what happened? 1 turnover to 7 turnovers. There it is. And when you take a close look at that, the roster would indicate that the best players on defense are doing it, and they are. It's the safeties, and we do believe that they are the primary users for Dreams on the defensive side of the ball when he's controlling the Jets in the Brackks Online franchise draft league. So when you take a look here in Week 1, Third down conversions, not very active. The reality is that the Jets did not spend a whole lot of time with the ball on offense because they were steady getting interceptions on defense. What we're going to highlight here. Rodgers, not a whole lot of opportunities, only 8 pass attempts. Pretty efficient overall, 81 rating. But Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns, 7 picks. Okay, we're going to go ahead and highlight that quickly. When you take a look at the defensive side of the ball, you have the interceptions, 3 for Marcus May, 1 for Holcomb, 1 for Lattimore, 1 for Crossan, and 1 for Matthew. So there's your 7 interceptions. You take a look closer. You have multiple defensive touchdowns during the game, 3 from Marcus May. He also had sacks from the safety position. So that's an indicator of a user flying around the field, lurking, and making plays on defense. So that's what we would like to highlight in the box score in week 1. Also, when you take a closer look at what he's doing on offense, you'll see there's Gibson. 12 carries, 41 yards, nothing spectacular. He's controlling the ball. He's not turning it over, 3.5 yards to carry. He's trying to be rhythmic on offense, and he's doing a good job so far this season. The winning team here does not have the more offense gained during the game. When you take a close look, you have the offensive yards for the Niners, the rushing yards for the Niners, and the overall yards for the Niners. Really dominating the game. The turnovers, again, the Jets are going to highlight that. They're going to dominate that is what they take their pride on. Their pride in when they're going on the stage here in Madden. So you want to be careful of that. They're really lurking out there in the secondary with the safeties. So you want to take a real look there pre-snap, read that, and make sure that you're knowing where the check down is, because those safeties are going to be lurking wherever that primary and even that secondary are coming across the field. So it's very important that you know where they are. Now, when you take a look at the player stats for here in week 2, you'll see, again, not a lot of action from Rodgers. 7 of 18, really not a great game from him. 38 percentage, under 8 yards per attempt. So rating of 43, Goff was the decision maker here. 37 rating, even below Rodgers there, 3 picks. So again, that's 10 picks after 2 games. That's not something to balk at. That's something that you really have to take a look at when you're scouting the opponent. That's what he wants to do. So how are you going to combat that? How are you going to get the opponent to get out of his game? That's the question. So there again, Gibson, 11 carries, 22 yards. Not a lot of yards, but repetitive. Again, 8 to 12 carries is what we'll probably see from the Jets from Gibson. Maybe peppered a little bit from the backups, but really not a lot otherwise. Week 2, again, the tight ends. Waller, 3 grabs, 80 yards. Bryant, 3 grabs, 40 yards. Okay? You're not going to really see a whole lot from the wide receivers in this offense. We'll probably see some 2 tight end sets, a lot of running the ball. But again, this team prides itself on turning the ball over and getting quick touchdowns. So Waller is their go-to. You want to be careful with him. When you see the defensive side of the ball, again, interceptions. Chidobe Awuzie getting the grabs. Carter, okay, that's 10 picks after 2 games. So you want to be very careful and be mindful of that. Okay, YouTube, when it comes to week 3, you take a look at the box score here. This was a big win for the Jets. So really you're going to see some natural tendencies and what the offense wants to do when you look at the box score and you look at the stats. So the only game so far on the schedule for the Jets where the offensive yards is in their favor. So 385 to 295, a lot of passing, not too much rushing, but just enough to keep the rhythm going for the offense, so that way they could get the W here. One thing you'll know when you're looking through the box scores for the Jets so far this season, they're not going to go for it really on fourth down too much. I believe maybe 1 or 2 attempts tops for them so far this season, only when they have to. Again, red zone percentage, 100 for the Jets, 4 TDs, perfect rating. Really, you have to ask yourself why, and is it because that it's an AI opponent? Because I believe it was. Now, again, there's your consistency from the running back. A little more free running for Gibson in week 3. 9 carries, 81 yards, 9 a run, a scurry there, and 1 a score. So, again, looking at it, when he does throw the ball, there's the ticket. Darren Waller, 7 grabs, 220 yards, 3 scores. Next one's down there. Valdez-Scantling, 2 grabs. McKenzie, 4 grabs, but not a whole lot. 45 yards. Okay, we need to look at the tight ends because that's what the Jets want to do. Okay, we'll see if we can get them out of their game. If not, we'll look at highlighting those players. And there's a few secrets that the coaching staff has up their sleeve that, of course, we wouldn't release to the public in the scouting report. So thanks for tuning in to the Esports Collective and Coach Casper. We had a couple meetings about the team, and this is what we decided to reveal out to the public. So thanks for tuning in. Smash that like button and subscribe. That's that red bell. Yeah, right there. Bye.